So I did send out the agenda, and I see I didn't change the date, so that was bad on my part. I'll get that changed. So today is April 20th. And we'll just start with a prayer. So if you want to read along. God, our loving Father, you sent your son Jesus as our model and guide. Teach us to share our gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Transform our lives with creative simplicity that we may be worthy followers of Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in your Holy Spirit, both now and forever. Amen. So again, welcome everyone to our monthly call. I thought we'd just kind of go over what we talked about last time. And so the launcher was new as we spoke 2 months ago. And I know they've done some more improvements on it. So just to show you what the launcher is, let's move over to these buttons right here. Are you all seeing my screen? That's the launcher, and you should be able to go from clinicals to EMR to POC to census, and it should be very quick and easy. Of course, you can still work in your 3 URLs if you choose to. There has been a few glitches with the launcher, and just let me know again. I'd like to be updated on everything. So send me an email if you're having difficulty. Screenshots are great because then I can see what's really happening at that time. And I have a team at Matrix that I work very close with to resolve issues quickly. So, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the launcher. The next thing we went over last time was that Minnesota MDH resident roster for Minnesota, and that gives us our resident roster. I did hear back from Anna at Duluth. Thank you so much for that input. Under reports, when you go to the Minnesota client roster and we ran that report, it was exporting people who were no longer in our community. So Matrix is fixing that for us. That should be done shortly. But again, under reports in senior living, that Minnesota client roster report, you just hit that export. If you've done a form on everyone, clinical forms, remember when you hit your new form and you hit your record type for a resident, and then you'll want to select your person, and you'll go down until you find that form of Minnesota current client roster data. And so that'll replace that MDH data that's currently in eSource. You can stop using that one and start using this one. Any questions so far on the roster or the launcher? I don't see anything in the chat. And then Missouri, you have your new form for pre-admission and admission. I'm not sure if anyone from there is on the call, but if you've had a chance to look at that, it is just a one-time entry into the community. So you would just go under forms and fill that out. Oh, we have a chat. Nazareth is up. Okay. Welcome, Mindy. So Mindy might want to look at those forms for Missouri. They're under the forms section again. In Matrix under forms, and you go to resident and then you select a resident. Once you add that new form, they're identified with I believe they put Missouri on there. I may not have it right now because I'm not in a Missouri home. Let me go ahead and I'll quick throw in St. Joseph here. Well, I can see that. Oh, little mouse is just playing all over today. So let's hit new form. Oh, wait a minute. I got to take off the Minnesota one. So Missouri, yours would look like Missouri CBA form right here. And so you can start using these instead of your paper copy. And there's your pre-screen, and then there's your resident assessment that needs to be completed within 5 days. So it's all in here for you. So that was a nice plus. And then we kind of briefly went over adding tasks outside of the service plan, that there is a way to do it. I really don't want to make this too consistent. But again, we do have multiple states, multiple facilities needing different things. And so it is here for you to use. You actually make the templates through your scheduler. And then when you're in your orders under your resident, you can pull that template in. One example I think that we used it for was maybe housekeeping or laundry that hadn't been answered in the evaluation because it's included in the rent. And so we did add it through that way. Maybe doctor appointments, if you want to make one order set for that, one scheduling template for that, getting people ready for appointments, you could do that. Something that isn't really point related, because remember, we always want to be aware that adding short-term tasks, how are we getting paid for that? So it's really important that we stick to that evaluation so we can capture points, or we're billing a la carte. Any questions about the scheduler? Do you want me to run through that real quick? I can help you individually too, because it is a little time consuming. So of course, just reach out. We can set up a Zoom. I can help you with some situations and we can talk through it. Something new for all of us, and we'll start with the new news. We, with the help of Shelly, thank you, Shelly Middlestat, we made corporate users so that we can now set up people who have multiple facilities like Nazareth, Madonna's, Shakopee's, those people that have more than one building. We now have a corporate community user. Under the corporate tab, when we're adding a user, you're going to see the templates are now BHS Community AL Director of Nursing, BHS Community AL Medication Aid, BH Community AL Nurse, BH Community Resident Assistance, or CNA. And then the billers, of course, were already in here. So they're more geared to AL. We did those 4. And they have all the security templates that you need for senior living and care assists. So if we use these, you'll find that you're probably getting the tokens that you need. If you're not seeing something and you're not using that template, you can put in a clinical ticket and Shelly or one of the clinical teams can find the appropriate token, because I know some other communities use different templates. So, but going forward, if we could kind of stick to the 4 ones that we made for the assisted living, I think you'll find that when we have updates, because those are the tokens that we go in and update those securities. We don't do the ones that are not assisted living, and then we have to do them one by one. So, so that was good news to get that done. That was a big project that Shelly really helped with. The one thing, if you do add a corporate community user, There are two things. So I'm going to go ahead and search for me. Sorry. And so if I'm searching for Linda Johnson, and you might notice that I want to look for all my inactive names before I make another username. We cannot just sign over a user to Matrix. So what we would have to do is if I had a name that did not have a suitcase next to it, then I know this name here is not a corporate user. So if I went in here and I know that they're just a regular user, and I want to switch them to a corporate user, I want to make sure I remove this SSO. I'm going to copy it first. Highlight copy, because if I'm going to reuse that SSO, I want to make sure I have it copied. We're going to go ahead and delete it. And then we can start over by recreating me. When I recreate me, I'm going to have to use a different username. If you use the number 1 and then you use the SSO that you used, you don't have to worry about logging into the 3 URLs using the 1 because the SSO name overrides it. So whatever in KeyCloak is your username will still be your username. This is only for the elite side. That being said, your new username now with the number 1 will be your elite username for 2 things. 1, your EMR offline will be determined by this username, and your Welch Allen vital sign machine is goes off this username in the elite side. So if your KeyCloak username and your CareAssist username is Li Johnson, but I have a 1 after it for my EMR offline and for my Welch Allen, I'll want to use that number 1 for my username for those 2 products. Any questions on that? And then the other thing, we just want to remind you when adding physicians and pharmacies to please put in a clinical ticket with all the information. It just really saves on duplicates. We have so many physicians and pharmacies out there. And then if you make your own, it's just really making a lot of duplicates and matrix. And then Shelly just really tracks that a little bit better, and she can set them up much quicker and pull them into your community if missing. So really that's a clinical ticket. And then I just want to open up eSource because I've been getting a lot of questions about this week, how we do our pre-admission assessment. And so we really want you to continue to use the assessment that we created in eSource. It's under your application. So when you're under eSource and you go to your applications, it's this AL Memory Care Eval. This is the same questions and the same points that determines what care level that you're going to be. If you did an evaluation 6 months ago on someone and they didn't move in and now they're back again, you can go ahead and edit that assessment or redo a new one and really go in there and figure out what you need for cares. You can also print a blank copy, just hitting print a survey copy, and that will print you a blank one. Who wants to print now? If you're going out in the community and you just want to bring that. I did devise a secondary one that I'd like to share with you. I have to go in and just verify the points yet to make sure that they're appropriate. This would not be all inclusive of everything in the evaluation, but it might give you a little bit of a idea of what it will take. And so I'll send this out after and get some feedback. I would like you to not use it until we get the green light. I just want to make sure that some of these points are still valid, or if we're missing something. So it might be a nice little marketing tool for you. A quick little, you know, if you're going to the hospital, it's one sheet of paper. It might be a little bit quicker, but still knowing that there's lots of different areas that this could change, especially with bathroom assistants. We could look at adding the 3, 6. The 3 I think is missing. And just being aware of your marketing tool. I think as nurses, we should all have our marketing material with us at all times, because it really drives what's included in rent and what's not included in rent. And those are the biggest errors that I do see when I'm doing audits is the linen is included or not included in the rent, but the laundry was, but we're charging for both, you know, linen changes and laundry. So, you know, really get your marketing tools out and review that before you're due for a price change. Some are July, some are January. Go through your marketing material, and if something doesn't make sense anymore, we want to change stuff, it's best to do it while we're doing price changes every year. So it's kind of helpful to kind of review that with your housing person. So we'll get this out to a few select people, take some feedback on that. Any questions so far? Okay. I am going to play a video, and it's about the R2 release of the clinical and the care assist coming up. Our release is April 21st. You always know when your releases are because there'll be a banner here, and it's usually that they're down for an hour. We always kind of want to put a little notice out for our staff so they know from like 1 to 2, they may not be able to chart. So they need to be aware of that. It usually lasts under an hour, depending how long it is. It might last up to 2. I haven't really seen it last that long. But here's a quick little video, and if you could, someone could just tell me if the sound is coming through.
If it's playing, I don't hear anything yet, Linda.
What was that, Penny?
I don't hear anything if it's already playing.
It was playing, so it's not coming over.
No. Want to try it again?
Yep, let me see if I have the volume up as high as I can. Okay. I think they do that on purpose so I can't copy their videos. Let me try it again.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay. Basically, I'll just kind of go through a little bit of it. So there's 2 new chats coming up, discussions in the community where you can go in and you can do like live chats about different things. And we're talking about the client community that you should all have access to. My URL is community.matrixcare.com. If you don't have access, you just put your email in and say you lost your password and they'll set you up. But basically, an overview is, I did put it into our agenda here also. What's coming out is this new chat. There's a new medication administration summary report, and it's really for the health department surveyors when they're on site. You can just generate the report and it kind of gives them a summary without too many details, without administration times or comments that maybe we don't want them to see. So I would get in there and kind of look for that. And then there's also and this was sent out also with Shelley's update, because this is also for some of the skilled nursing home, because we do share the elite side. And so this is where you would go for that report, facilities report EMR. So I snapped a picture of that for you. It will require new tokens. So me and Shelley will be going in and adding those tokens. So please let me know again if you don't have the token and you don't see the summary report, you're probably not using one of our normal security templates. So then I'll have to individually go in and give that to you. And that's not a great picture, but then it shows you where to pick it there. The other update was the preventative healthcare page. They did a lot with this, so it's really easy to navigate. I'm not going to go through it that much, but what's nice is we also have a corporate report now that we can get it corporate wide for vaccines. So if we want to see who all has the COVID vaccine, now we can pull it all from the corporate side too. So they did do a lot with this preventative health. Care Assist will now be able to be enlarged when you're using Care Assist, for those who maybe want to see the picture better, if we do have a high resolution picture, the ADA or nurse can click on that picture and it will enlarge for them so they can get a better view. And those were the big highlights from this next update coming. So is there anything that anyone wants to share in the communities? Any struggles, anything good, bad, and different? Something must have happened somewhere. Okay. Well, if you want to share, you can still jump in. I'll just keep moving forward. Just a reminder for your admission documents and eSource. We are working on those, trying to get those up and correct. So if you go into eSource under admissions and find your AL community, if you're finding that they aren't correct, please send me an email. I'm working with Lisa to get those completed or corrected. I do know there's going to be a new statement of home care coming out with the new regulations, so that'll be a change for everybody in Minnesota. Other than that, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.